How has the sword of Scripture been used in your life? Throughout the past semester, as our group explored Psalm 139, I was struck by how differently each of us entered the text. The words never changed, yet our individual histories, questions, and wounds brought our different interpretations and emotions. For me, one of the strongest themes was a growing discomfort with certain parts of the Bible, both in the passages we considered before landing on Psalm 139 and even within the psalm itself. It's not a bad discomfort, but a kind of cognitive dissonance that now shows up almost every time I read Scripture. That discomfort has made the journey feel less like a clean biblical wilderness and more like a dense jungle. The vines and tangled branches are the beliefs, assumptions, and interpretations formed in me over years. I find myself needing to cut through them carefully, slowly, and sometimes painfully. In Psalm 139, the section about enemies was particularly unsettling. It wasn't only because of the violent language, though that's real, but because when I look at my own life, I've often considered myself to be the enemy, the obstacle to my growth. At times, in seasons of hardship where no one seemed at fault, I've wondered whether God was the enemy as well. But as I've reflected more deeply, I'm beginning to realize that some of these enemies were shaped not by God, but by people's misuses of God, misuses of Scripture, of authority, of theology. This connects to a major theme in our group's discussions: the many ways Scripture has been weaponized. Times when the sword of Scripture was used to wound rather than to heal. Times when difficult emotions or experiences were bypassed with simplistic answers. Times when fear was instilled rather than love expressed. These misuses create the jungle, unhealthy vines of thinking that wrap around us and distort our ability to see Scripture as an expression of true love, the kind that drives out fear rather than producing it. Yet in the midst of all of this, I found hope in my group. Their willingness to wrestle with the same questions kept me from feeling alone. In them, I saw a glimpse of the God Psalm 139 describes, the one who searches, knows, and sees us with perfect understanding. In many ways, the passage paints a picture of God as the perfect counselor, patiently walking with us through the tangled jungle created by misuses of his name and his word. Maybe these distortions, these inherited misunderstandings, are the real enemies. And so I return to the question, how has the sword of Scripture been used in your life? Psalm 139 invites us to re-examine who God truly is and what forces truly oppose his way. It urges us to trust that he knows us fully and leads us towards life everlasting.